Hey y'all! Today we're at my family's cabin on our ranch in Central Texas. My grandfather had it built as a hunting cabin, and we still like to come out here just for wilderness retreats. We like to bring our boys out here and we take them on hikes and we let them look for fossils, and they love spotting wildlife. It's fun. And we also love to just have the whole family out here and gather together and eat around a table together. And speaking of that, today we are making a pot of pinto beans. Specifically, we're making what I like to call family reunion beans. A lot of you probably hear that and know exactly what I mean right away. But for the rest of you, so in this little region of the world, whenever we have family reunions, it is very frequently accompanied by some sort of barbecue or cookout, and there is always a pot of this kind of beans. I know what you're thinking. They can be a little bit bland, but sheer nostalgia has inspired me to work on this recipe quite a bit until I got it to where I think it is full of flavor and it is still traditional enough to be reminiscent of the beans that you had growing up at family reunions and stuff like that. So it is traditionally Southern kind of Texas pinto beans, but I guarantee you it has flavor. All right, let's get cooking. Our first step is we're going to take 5 strips of bacon and we're going to cut this into quarters. And now we're going to carry these over to the pot that we're going to cook our beans in, and we're going to get these started browning up. The fat from the bacon will render down in the pan and will really add a lot of good flavor to the finished product. It does not have to be pretty. Go ahead and stir it around however you need to make sure that it gets evenly cooked and all crisp. And then we will be pulling it out for a second to cook our sausage in the pan. Okay, now that our bacon has gotten nice and crisp, we're gonna go ahead and pull it out and set it aside for a minute. But we'll still leave all of that nice bacon grease in the bottom. Okay, so where traditional pinto bean recipes would be using a ham hock to add a smokiness to the beans, I like to use smoked sausage. It gives it the same smoky, kind of meaty flavor, and then you've got some sausage in there, so it's nice. So we're gonna take only about half of this and go ahead and cut it into kind of half moon shapes. Okay, now we're gonna add this to the pan. While the sausage is browning, we're gonna go ahead and prep our vegetables. We've got a white onion and 2 jalapenos. We're just gonna get the onion and chop it in half. We're going to take these jalapenos and we're going to score them on the side. We don't want to cut all the way through if possible. We just want a little slice lengthwise down the skin of the jalapeno. This is going to let just enough flavor get into the water that the beans are cooking in without adding a ton of spice and without the pepper completely falling apart. Okay, so we're starting with a pound of pinto beans dry, and we are gonna soak them overnight. Just put them in a bowl and cover them with about 1.5 inches of water. Stick them in the fridge and just leave them there. We've soaked these beans overnight. As you can see, they've absorbed a lot of the water and they're ready for cooking now. Now that it looks like our sausage is nice and browned, we're going to go ahead and add the bacon back into the pot. Next step will be to add our beans. And you can just go ahead and let the rest of the soaking water get in there too. We're going to add some more water to the pot. We need enough to cover the beans by about 1/2 inch at first, and we'll add more as it cooks. Now we're going to go ahead and turn the heat up so that it can get boiling. The next step is going to be adding some spices. We're going to do about a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Stir that in. Okay, so now we're gonna add our vegetables. The onion, just stick the 2 halves right in there. You don't have to chop it up or anything. That is plenty good enough to release the flavor, and also it will break down as it cooks. It's gonna be cooking a while. And then the jalapenos. You kind of nestle them down in there. Okay, we've got these up to a boil. We're going to cover them and let them continue boiling like this for about an hour. Okay, these have been boiling for about an hour. We're going to uncover them and give them a little bit of a stir. And we're going to turn it down to simmer and keep them simmering on the stove here for at least another hour. It could be up to 2.5 hours. There's a long tradition of eating pinto beans just like this at family gatherings and cookouts and stuff like that in this area. And I think whenever people think about where this type of dish came from, a lot of times it brings to mind cowboys and chuck wagons and things like that. Pinto beans are native to the Americas, and so people have been eating some iteration of pinto bean recipe here for thousands of years. And also there's definitely influences from European settlers, but also there's influences from Mexico, there's influences from Africa. There's a lot of history to a dish like this. And I think that acknowledging that can actually add a lot to the enjoyment of a dish like this and can really enrich your perspective while you're eating it. All right, let's give it a try. Tastes like a Texas childhood. Give it a try. Let me know what you think in the comments. And thanks for watching, guys.